Breaking news out of Texas, Bigfoot is real.
For decades, researchers have been trying to communicate with Bigfoot. But have you ever wondered who he is trying to communicate with?
From mysterious sightings deep in the forest to expert analyses and scientific investigations, the question remains, is Bigfoot real or just a myth? So buckle up, folks, cause Expedition Bigfoot researcher revealed that they've found him. The wild mystery. Guess what? An explorer just found Bigfoot. Did you know that Washington State has the most Bigfoot sightings with 676 reports, and California is next with 445? These legends aren't just tall tales. There have been over 10,000 sightings in the U.S. alone. Come along as we dig into the truth behind this legendary creature and uncover the mysteries hiding in the wild. Who doesn't love being outdoors, right? The stunning views, the fresh air, nature is amazing. From majestic lions and tigers to rolling hills and towering mountains, the natural world is full of beauty. But beyond these familiar sights, the wilderness is home to stories of even more extraordinary creatures. Throughout history, people have been captivated by tales of legendary beings roaming the earth. Think of graceful unicorns, magical mermaids, and fire-breathing dragons. These creatures spark our imagination, but as the world changes and cities grow, they start to feel more like characters from old myths. Even so, reports of these mythical beings still pop up, especially in the U.S.
There are lots of Native American stories of lots of different creatures in the woods.
One of the theories is that it could in fact be a chupacabra.
And the creature that gets the most buzz? Bigfoot. This tall, hairy, human-like figure is said to roam the deepest, wildest forests of North America. Bigfoot has been a part of American and Canadian folklore for ages, capturing people's curiosity and becoming a big cultural icon. But despite all the hype, there are still plenty of skeptics out there who aren't convinced that Bigfoot is real.
A hunter from Pennsylvania claims he took a picture of Bigfoot.
I mean, the evidence that's already been found is often seen as shaky or unreliable, so it's no wonder that many people are skeptical. But some are determined to prove that Bigfoot really does roam the forests of North America. One of them is Tony Harris, the energetic host of the TV show The Proof Is Out There.
It's been said that Bigfoot exhibits nocturnal behavior, perhaps to hunt or to avoid detection.
Tony is all about exploring the unexplained, whether it's ghosts, supernatural stuff, or legendary creatures from around the world. He and his team are always on the lookout for new evidence that might shed light on these age-old mysteries. During his search, Tony met Stacy Brown Jr., a researcher and filmmaker from Crawfordville, Florida. Stacy's fascination with the supernatural started with his dad, who he was super close to. They shared a curiosity about UFOs, mythical creatures, and of course, Bigfoot. This bond led them to spend countless nights in the woods on what they called Bigfooting trips. But here's the surprising part. Stacy recalls a day when his dad called him up around lunchtime, asking if he wanted to go Bigfooting that evening. These adventures didn't just fuel Stacy's interest in Bigfoot. They also brought him and his dad closer together through their shared love of exploring the unknown. Growing up in a small town, Stacy's background gave him a unique perspective on the stories and legends about these mysterious creatures. Stacy's encounter in the woods was just the beginning of an adventure that would turn his world upside down, the haunting forest. Stacy always felt at home in the heart of the woods. The forest was where he felt most comfortable, far away from the busy city life where people rarely experience nature's wild side. Living so close to the wilderness had given him special skills and knowledge, and he believed these would help him track down a legendary creature rumored to lurk in the shadows. Little did he know that his beliefs were about to turn into reality, but nothing could have prepared Stacy and his dad for the chilling encounter they had one summer day in 2012. Stacy, usually calm and collected, managed to keep his cool, maybe because he didn't have his dad's new thermal camera with him that night. If he had, he might have been just as shaken as his dad when the camera suddenly stopped working. In a moment of tension, his dad, a retired Army Ranger, asked Stacy if he had his gun, a question he had never asked before. The unusual request, combined with the fear in his dad's voice, sent chills down Stacy's spine. But the scariest part wasn't over yet.
We would hear something running on our right, and then we would hear something running on our left, and it stopped real quick. And then Dad looked up at up there at the tree, and he's like, oh, I see something.
They managed to make it back to their truck safely, but the experience left them both deeply shaken. Even though they were scared, Stacy and his dad were just as curious about what they had witnessed. When they reviewed the thermal footage, it seemed like they might have actually encountered Bigfoot. The idea shocked Stacy so much that he couldn't let it go. "We have to go back," he insisted.
Then it takes off and crosses this gap, and he goes into full-blown panic mode. The camera goes dead. He's like, "We gotta go, we gotta go." He's like, "Do you got your gun?"
Unable to walk away from what could be an incredible discovery. But no one else seemed to grasp how serious that day was. So, on another chilly morning, Stacy and his dad ventured deep into the dense forest, armed with just a camera. This forest was well known for stories about a creature resembling Bigfoot. As they ventured deeper, with mist swirling around and towering trees casting eerie shadows, they suddenly saw something move. With shaky hands, they managed to capture what looked like Bigfoot on camera. Stacy was thrilled, his heart racing with excitement, but his dad wasn't so eager to press on. "I think we should head back," his dad said cautiously. Despite his dad's hesitation, Stacy couldn't shake the feeling that they had come across something extraordinary. He knew something amazing was out there in those woods. When they returned, Stacy eagerly showed the footage to his family. "Can you believe we're leaving after seeing Bigfoot?" he asked, his eyes wide with disbelief. His dad, sitting in the truck, just shrugged. "If you're so interested, go back yourself," he said, clearly unwilling to return to the site. Frustrated but too scared to go back alone, Stacy decided to send the footage to Cliff Barackman, a well-known Bigfoot researcher. Cliff quickly responded, full of curiosity and eager to investigate further. But Stacy and his dad weren't ready to return to the forest themselves. Cliff had the expertise and courage that Stacy and his dad felt they lacked. He planned a thorough search of the area, hoping to uncover more evidence of Bigfoot's existence. Stacy felt both relieved and excited that someone experienced was taking over. It was clear this adventure had grown too big for them. But Stacy and his father always stood by the video they captured, even though others doubted its authenticity. To them, it was undeniable proof that Bigfoot existed. And on that note, a team member started reminiscing about a surprising encounter in the summer of 2019. When Doug Teague's walk with his dog Daisy led to an unexpected discovery in the Carolina woods. Doug Teague's encounter in the Carolina woods. As Doug was enjoying the outdoors, he came across something that left him amazed and a little shaken.
I heard a couple knocks, just put it off as a woodpecker. Didn't think much about it. And then a rock was through that rolled down the hill. On to the right, there was loud grunts, numerous loud grunts.
With his phone in hand, he managed to record a video of a large, shadowy figure moving through the trees, something he believed could be Bigfoot. The figure in the video is hard to make out clearly, but it's definitely there, lurking in the background. Doug tried to keep Daisy calm and quickly left the area, but that was just the beginning. When Doug got home and calmed down, he described what he had seen. A very large, dark creature with a silver sheen, standing around 8 feet tall, like a giant gorilla. This matched what he captured in the video, though the footage was too grainy for others to see clearly what Doug had witnessed. While you could make out an outline of something, whether it was really Bigfoot remained uncertain. Doug also shared that the creature had been more active before he started filming. He heard knocking sounds in the woods, which he initially thought were made by a woodpecker. But when a rock was thrown at him, a behavior often attributed to Bigfoot, Doug realized something else was out there. This, combined with the video, added another layer to the growing number of stories supporting the idea that Bigfoot might be real. Even without crystal-clear proof, Doug's experience fueled ongoing discussions about the legendary creature. Later, as he was navigating the woods, Doug was thrown down a hill and started hearing loud grunts. Something was definitely out there. But whether those noises were from the creature known as Bigfoot remained a mystery. Cliff Barackman, a seasoned Bigfoot researcher, would argue that such sounds are significant. In the forests of North Carolina, where Bigfoot sightings are a frequent topic, Cliff knows these encounters have a long history, dating back to before the 1800s. This particular incident reminded another researcher, Ken Gart, of a local Bigfoot known as Nye, a creature reportedly seen multiple times near the very spot where Doug had his encounter. Driven by a burning curiosity and a desire to uncover the truth, Doug decided to set up equipment in hopes of capturing more evidence of Bigfoot. His persistence paid off when he managed to record more videos and even made casts of large footprints left behind by an unseen visitor in the forest on that warm summer day. This added yet another piece to the puzzle of Bigfoot's elusive existence.
That comes down, I think it's safe to say that's a very strong resemblance between the two.
Cliff was thrilled by Doug's discovery, especially the footprints he had collected. Cliff, a passionate Bigfoot researcher, compared these prints with another set of known authentic footprints and found a striking similarity. This new evidence had the potential to shift the direction of the team's investigation in surprising ways, balancing evidence and instinct. While Tony found Doug's video a bit unclear, he was impressed by the footprints, but still, he cautioned that they needed to be careful. There have been many fake footprints made to trick the curious and the gullible. The story didn't stop there. Fascinated by what they had found, Tony and his colleagues decided to share their evidence with Kathy Strain, a respected expert in the field, hoping to gain more insights and possibly confirm the existence of the elusive creature they might have encountered.
Sometimes when we refer to Bigfoot, we think of one isolated individual, but it's really a population. It's just like any other species that you'd find in the forest. There's more than one.
When Kathy, an experienced anthropologist, examined the footprint cast Doug had brought, she was struck by its authenticity. The detailed shape of the toes made her think it had to come from a large hominid, possibly living in the forest. This evidence convinced Kathy that Doug's sighting was likely genuine. On the other hand, Lucy Eckersley, the team's wildlife biologist, was more skeptical. She focused on the spacing between the multiple footprints found in the area. The 6-foot gap between prints suggested a large creature, but Lucy needed more concrete proof. Her scientific mind required solid evidence before she could believe Doug had truly seen something extraordinary. This difference in perspective created an interesting dynamic within the team. Kathy was eager to believe they had uncovered a new, large creature based on the footprints alone, while Lucy's insistence on more evidence kept the investigation grounded in scientific rigor. This balance between belief and skepticism pushed the team to dig deeper, examining each piece of evidence with both curiosity and critical thinking. But the most surprising part was still to come. As the days passed, the team gathered more footprints, observed subtle signs of movement in the forest, and considered how such a creature might impact the environment. Each new piece of evidence added complexity to their investigation, turning their search into a thrilling journey of discovery. They weren't just trying to prove or disprove the existence of Bigfoot. They were also uncovering the complex life of the forest, where every leaf and shadow seemed to hold a hidden story. The footprints that were found were massive, suggesting a creature that could be around 15 feet tall. They guessed this based on the length of the strides that were observed. The creature in the video seemed large enough to leave those marks, though it was hard to determine its exact size. Lucy's observations sparked a debate that made them question everything they thought they knew. Hoax or reality? Lucy brought up an interesting point during the discussion. While the video showed something strange, there was one odd detail. Daisy, Doug's dog, remained unusually calm throughout the encounter. Normally, a dog would react to a big, unfamiliar creature nearby, but Daisy stayed quiet the whole time. While Doug might have trained her well, her calmness raised questions. Was it really Bigfoot they had seen, or could it have been something else like a large bear? But Doug's observations complicated the bear theory. He mentioned that the creature threw rocks, which is something bears can't do since they don't have thumbs. Lucy then proposed another idea. Perhaps it was a silverback gorilla. The creature's hunched posture and furry appearance reminded her of a gorilla, which also has the ability to throw objects, fitting the rock-throwing behavior. But there's a catch. Silverback gorillas don't live in the area where Doug filmed the creature. This deepened the mystery. If it wasn't a gorilla, then what could it have been? The question kept us guessing, adding another layer to Doug's strange encounter in the woods. Another possibility is that the creature could be a new, undiscovered animal. Dogs like Daisy have a strong sense of smell, and her calmness could indicate that the scent was unfamiliar, but not threatening. This idea suggested that the creature might be something completely unknown to science, possibly even a real-life Sasquatch, distinct from any known animal or human. Other than that, something else caught the researchers' attention as well. Lucy speculated that Doug might have encountered someone trying to pull a prank. She suggested that this person could have been wearing a furry suit to fool Bigfoot enthusiasts. It wouldn't be the first time someone attempted such a hoax. Even after reviewing the video, Doug, Kate, and Lucy couldn't be certain they had captured real evidence of Bigfoot. Tony, after examining the evidence, including the fascinating footprint and its cast, concluded that it didn't definitively point to Bigfoot. Initially, the clues were exciting, but the poor video quality and uncertain evidence weren't enough to be convincing. Tony suspected that someone might be faking the findings to stage a hoax, leading him to believe that the footage likely showed a person in a suit trying to fake a Bigfoot sighting. This made the team start to doubt their findings. The excitement they first felt started to fade, leaving them with more questions than answers. But the worst part was realizing how easy it is to fool people with tricks like this. They began to wonder if other sightings might have been fakes too. This made them even more determined to find real proof, even if it meant starting over. Even though it might be disappointing for those who hoped the story was true, it's hard to ignore all possibilities. Who's to say the figure they saw wasn't really Bigfoot wandering through the forests of North Carolina? If people like Doug and Kate believe this is proof, maybe there is some truth to it. Science and myth. Anthropologists mostly see Bigfoot as more of a cultural story than a real creature. They're curious about how myths and legends like Bigfoot grow and change over time. Instead of hunting for the creature itself, they ask why people believe in it and what it says about our society. But there's one exception: Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum from Idaho State University. He's taken a deep dive into studying what he thinks are Bigfoot footprints. He's convinced that some tracks show details that match how a large primate's foot would work. Meldrum looks at things like the stride, foot shape, and how deep the prints go, claiming they're too realistic to be just hoaxes. Still, most other anthropologists aren't buying it. They think Meldrum's approach is interesting, but see the Bigfoot craze as more of a modern myth. They focus on why people love telling these stories, how human psychology plays a part, and how legends like Bigfoot stick around in different cultures. On the other hand, we've got wildlife biologists. They mainly focus on whether a creature like Bigfoot could actually survive in the wild. They think about things like habitat, food sources, and whether the environment could support a population of large, secretive primates. One biologist, Dr. John Mianzinski, believes Bigfoot might be a leftover species from an early human ancestor. He relies on his skills in tracking, studying habitats, and understanding animal behavior to look into sightings. Mianzinski argues that isolated areas in North America, like the Pacific Northwest, could possibly hide a small group of these creatures. But Dr. Carl Schuker, a more skeptical zoologist and cryptozoologist, points out the glaring lack of solid proof, like droppings, bones, or clear photos, that you'd expect if Bigfoot really existed. Most biologists agree that if a big animal like that were around, there'd be some obvious signs. But so far, no one's found anything convincing. Then, we've got cryptozoologists. They are definitely the ones leading the charge when it comes to Bigfoot research. Unlike traditional scientists, they're open to considering things like eyewitness accounts, grainy photos, and personal stories as evidence. Loren Coleman is one of the big names in cryptozoology. He's spent decades collecting Bigfoot reports and even organizes expeditions to track down clues. Coleman runs the International Cryptozoology Museum and thinks that repeated sightings and local legends might point to a hidden species. His research often involves fieldwork, like footprint casting, talking to locals, and surveying areas where Bigfoot has supposedly been spotted. But cryptozoologists get a lot of pushback from mainstream scientists. Critics argue that their methods aren't scientific enough. There's a lack of peer-reviewed studies and hard physical evidence. The biggest complaint is that cryptozoologists put too much trust in stories and evidence that can't be repeated or verified. But if we look at other pieces of evidence, there's some scientific evidence as well. Like in an episode of Expedition Bigfoot, the team found bones and prey remains scattered across the snow. The gnawed bones weren't just stripped of meat. The marrow was gone too, a chilling echo of early human behavior. Marrow extraction played a key role in human evolution, and now it seemed this creature had tapped into the same primal instinct. And not only that, the team had discovered volcanic glass in nearby caves earlier, so now it made perfect sense. The creature might be using the sharp edges, just like ancient humans, to carve flesh with precision. The ferocity of the kill didn't match the patterns of wolves, bears, or big cats. This was something different, more calculated. The precise nature of the slaughter hinted at intelligence and intent, a chilling combination. The crew members Ronnie and Bryce carefully collected bone samples, hoping they'd reveal more about this predator, a creature that seemed to blur the line between human and beast with a shocking level of sophistication. Realizing the urgency, Ronnie and Bryce quickly radioed their other team members, Maria and Russ. The clues all pointed to one conclusion: the creature could strike again at any moment. It seemed to be heading toward the ice sheet near the stream, an area rich in resources and ideal for concealment. This wasn't just a random hunting ground. Bigfoot had chosen it deliberately, much like a human would. As Maria and Russ prepared to follow the trail, Ronnie and Bryce stayed behind to dig deeper into the evidence. But something felt off. The remains didn't tell the full story. Where was the rest of the body? There were no drag marks, which meant the creature likely carried it away, similar to chimpanzee behavior. Coupled with the earlier thermal readings, it confirmed their worst fear. They were dealing with a Bigfoot kill. Every new clue painted a more terrifying picture of this predator, one that hunted with precision, made strategic choices, and showed behaviors disturbingly close to early humans. This wasn't just an ordinary creature, it was something that straddled the line between human instinct and raw primal power, a dangerous mix of intelligence, cunning, and sheer strength. As time goes on, we might find real evidence that Bigfoot is out there. But for now, we're going to believe in whatever evidence our researchers have found.